unfiltered, unbastardized, unfettered. We start out here in the mash tun before the combo here. What we'll do is we'll steep this grain, depending on what kind of recipe, what we want, our finished beer. Various malts, crystal malts there. There's some kiln coffee malts. Each malt, imparts a different part onto the finished product. Whether it be the alcohol, the amount of alcohol.
So this goes in there?
Yes, sir. And we'll steep that in 160-degree water. That's called striking. And then we'll let that mash in for about an hour. Let the enzymatic reaction that's contained within the kernel of the grain. It'll convert from starch into sugar through diastatic power. And once we get that sugary liquid, we'll transfer that over into the brew kettle. That's where we're going to boil it.
How much do you do at a time? What are the quantities?
So this is a 3.5 barrel ash tun, so that's about a barrel's 31 gallons, so about 90 gallons.
Okay.
A little over 105 gallons total at a time.
Okay.
Then we'll boil it off. That's where we're going to add the addition of hops early in the boil for bittering and preserving qualities. A little later is when you get the aroma and the flavor addition to hops. That's also where we sterilize all everything. That's why beer used to be what was safe to drink when water wasn't. Oil. They didn't realize that at the time. And so then we'll transfer that hop wort through the wort chiller. With the heat exchanger, as wort goes through, we got to cool it down so it's no longer 210 degrees, because we tried to put the yeast in with that and just cook them all off. So they're just a fungi form anyway. They're just a lower form of fungus. It's a single celled organism. So we'll send it in here. The plate chiller, water will rush in the opposite direction of the heat shrouded pipe, and then we'll steep it in here. We'll add to this fermenter. That's when yeast makes beer. As a brewer, you don't make beer. You make wort. It's kind of like
make what?
Wort. Wort's that sugary liquid that we made with the how do you spell that? W-O-R-T, but it's pronounced like W-E-R-T.
Wort. Okay.
And so, because that's all we're doing, because we
What's
can't
going on
make
there?
alcohol. That's the byproduct of fermentation. Each time that we introduce a form of brewer's yeast to a sugar molecule, like in this case maltose, it breaks it down into 2 parts ethyl alcohol, ethanol, and 2 parts carbon dioxide. So what that happens is that's pushing off right now, and it's yeast poops. That's what it is. It's their byproduct. We produce our natural waste. Their waste just happens to be ethanol and carbon dioxide. So not too bad for something that takes 10 lined up on an end to be like the diameter of a human hair. They're a pretty amazing creature. Like I was saying earlier, because we can't make alcohol, we can't make carbon dioxide. We rely heavily on it. So you've got to, as a brewer, you just got to sit there and be making like a perfect soup for like a really picky house guest. Is the best way to say being a brewer. It's like being a chef and a chemist whose guests you will never see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then once we'll let it ferment in here for about 7 days, then we'll put it in a cold suspension. Some of that protein and haze break will settle to the bottom. We'll draw that off. Then after that 10 days, we'll add green beer to this firkin. We'll give it about a 1/3 cup of all natural cane sugar that we get from our family farm down in Florida. That'll give the yeast something to eat and continue to produce more alcohol and carbon dioxide. That's why our beers have like a real gentle mouthfeel, because the carbon dioxide is not displaced in it, it's dissolved within here. Because most breweries, when they addition of beer, it goes through a ripening tank. Ours is all taken care of right in here. And this is its entire microclimate. its whole life is right there.
That's fascinating stuff. That'll happen right here.
Yeah, grain to glass. This is what does it all.
And how much do you produce like a week?
We generally look, fermentation spot is where we have a short window. We can only, like I said, it takes a full week in batch, so we generally do one batch a week right
So
now.
you're limited just
and
by the
swapping
space
them out.
constraints.
Yes, so right now. In March, we're going to get a third
One of those.
cylinder conical
Okay.
from JB Northwest, who put this fantastic system together for us. They're out of Oregon.
Who did that?
JB Northwest.
Okay.
They're kind of the Cadillac. They do everything. I mean, everything's self-figured. I can brew any beer, any style, any way I want with this system. And screw my foot up
Their
with
system.
this
How
guy.
much does this system cost?
I- probably about $250,000.
Wow. What's all that stuff up there?
This is what I was saying, like the different forms of the
Look at this, guys.
of the malt. Like how I was saying, like those grains that we use early on, they impart different, characteristics to the beer by how much they've been kilned and how they've been treated. Because malting is a complete, even further science. Before this grain even touches the strike water, a lot smarter guys have been messing with it before me. Something as light as, like a Pilsner malt here that has been like very lightly kilned so that it imparts just tons of sugar, not a lot of hops. Those are aged hops. Is it like because
Several hops are breaking.
what are these? And this is going to be a 2-row Pilsner malt. This is a crystal malt. This has been steeped in water to allow it to crystallize beforehand. So it imparts like treacle tart, caramel flavors. Coffee malt.
Okay.
Only imagine what this tastes like.
Does it smell?
Yeah, most definitely. Get in there, put your fingers in. Crush it up and taste it. It's not bad for it. There's like right.
What is it?
That's coffee malt.
That's the coffee malt?
Oh, actually, that's coffee. And this is just roast barley. So
Taste this. That's good. Let's taste that. It's like
grape
no.
nuts.
It's like grape nuts. It's like grape nut
It's
cereal.
all grape
Yeah,
nuts.
grape nut cereal.
And then roast barley, they don't.
That's cool.
You're right.
They don't let that malting. They don't arrest things from. They don't let the apple fire grow out to it. So they just strictly char the grain, and that's what makes stouts a stout. Like our Wanda, which is a dark beer by most standards, it's about a 30-degree SRM beer, and
SRM meaning what's the
standard reference method. It's a way of scaling, 2 being near clear, 50 being opaque black.
Okay.
It just gives you a reference. So these, just a hand, out of a 450-pound grain bill, our beer, we put 6 pounds of roast barley into it, and it gives you by all means, dark beer. And it's incredibly awesome. Like Guinness is made out of these 2 grains. That's it. That's all they make. They use 2-row, and the supplement the rest with roast barley, which imparts those espresso flavors to it. And you get each time that you're coming up with a recipe, you kind of look at it, as an algebra equation. Like I have X, what are the steps that I have to take to get it to where I want? How am I going to get enough alcohol to it? And so I'm going to put so much grain to it. How spicy do I want it? When am I going to add my hops early? Do I want it more bitter? Do I want it more floral?
Very interesting. Wow.